about us
When
and
he
our
said it was
sexuality.
very good. I don't think that's what the divine...
No, it was said.
But he certainly designed us
Yes.
to take pleasure in our bodies and for our bodies to be a source of comfort and great pleasure to each other. That's a part of the perfect.
It's worship.
Yes, and I
it's
remember you
part of
said
it.
something to me the other day that came back to me as well
It's worship.
about a woman of God who was explaining something to you of a personal nature. No need to put it on air. But the fact of the matter is it has always bothered me. Like, but you're man, I'm woman. If you denigrate an activity between us, you're denigrating yourself. How does it get there?
Because we do not understand that we've been created good.
So when Mr. Buchanan used language as he did, it was just coarse and lewd. That's what it is.
That's it.
It's not misogynistic. There's nothing in it that says he hates women or is discriminating against women.
And that's that I found interesting when I kept hearing that word, and I said, what? This
Yeah, we're going to touch on these issues because we must be of the right mind on these things. If not, we will continue to send mixed signals or just plain wrong signals about who we are and what we're doing. We're not a nation of prudes, for heaven's sake. Jamaica
like
could hardly be described as
like that.
prudish
Like
with
that.
what we go and get up to.
We going like
We're not
that.
prudish, and we're not moralistic to the point of absurdity. Mr. Buchanan's comments about Miss Llewellyn, he called it unfortunate. It's a little higher than unfortunate or lower than, however you look at it. It was lewd.
And rude. Lewd and rude.
Yeah, and its behavior, many persons are looking at him and saying, you should not be saying these things. Meaning, we understand that there are some people who function at the level where they say anything, and coarse language is not something that one would surprise you. But someone who knows that on any given day, he may have to do business, work, represent clients, the interest of third parties in this arena where the lady works and others like her work. To know that this is how he thinks and express himself, he will ultimately do a disservice, not just to himself, but to his clients. Who's going to hire him? I don't want a lawyer who can't even contain his own temper.
No,
I want a lawyer
important.
whose vocabulary and whose thought process is way more refined than that.
Yeah, but it's
So he hurts himself and those he represents when he behaves like that. And yes, he demeans the profession of which he's a part, because the reason you go to lawyer is so lawyer can perform
help you to mediate
better than you do with your upset and your great heat. Two people with an issue can trade bad words and insults all day long and make no progress.
Yeah.
But you introduce a lawyer into the mix, you expect the lawyer to bring something other than what you have frustrating yourselves to the table. And when the lawyer arrived and speak as he did, I am sure Mr. Palmer was in prison cringing and saying, oh, Jesus.
That means they're
going to charge me with a third murder.
No, but
I make light of it. But
but it's true. There's an
demonstrating.
expectation. There's an expectation that you will take the discourse to another level.
And higher level where solution can emerge. Not where you are slinging mud like everybody else. How do you make a difference? I say that to young lawyers, one or two of them, when I have to interact with them. And I find that they're offering no higher level of thought than their client. And they take this thing, they say lawyers are creatures of instruction. True, you must go based on what your client tells you. But your client gives you instructions to enable you to forge a solution. If you take those instructions and you are doing exactly and saying exactly what the client was saying, how have you advanced the process?
How do you, so you deserve your pay.
How do you earn your pay?
Yeah.
Because you're down there doing the same thing. So we say when lawyers enter the mix, they must add value.
Really must.
Mr. Buchanan's comments added zero value. In fact, he left the situation in a minus.
That major deficit.
And a major deficit. And he has suffered such loss because he's losing contracts. CVM fire him as a co-host of some morning program. And everybody who people are looking for, what do I have with Mr. Buchanan so I can go out and say I'm distancing myself
from him.
So you see, but there's no need to be going to a certain level. The PSOJ should at least trust that the GLC, which has a very, very sharp knife and they are never afraid to use it, let the GLC do its work. How does it become a matter for Mark Golding to accept responsibility for the utterances, the foolish utterances of a party member then? How does it come that way?
Has that ever happened in the past?
Well, not when one man calls somebody a chink or a fly or flea or whatever.
Remember Chichi, man?
Or Chichi.
Or the Chichi boss?
Yeah, no, we don't. And you know what? We shouldn't have to. There are some things, when you teach your child about taking responsibility and making apologies, what do you tell them? What are the fundamental ingredients for you to issue an apology? How would you describe that?
Have you done something wrong? Do you think you have offended the person? How do you see yourself moving to make the situation all right in terms of truly apologizing for what it is that you have done?
But do you require them to take responsibility for the neighbor's sin?
No, sir.
And do you yourself?
You take responsibility for what you have done. You can't take responsibility for what the person did. That would have triggered you.
So I don't understand how Mark Golding specifically should be apologizing for Isaac Buchanan. Did he raise him? What did Moses say? Did I have them as my children?
Yeah, and they take responsibility. It's better me dead than them, all right? Okay.
Yes, but when he was complaining to God that the burden is heavy, Moses said, well, why are these my responsibility? Did I give birth to them? This is Moses, most humble servant of God.
Most meek, yeah.
Saying, I can't be held responsible for the craziness of these people. I don't think it's necessary for the PNP chairman, leader, president, whatever, to do what the PSOJ head is calling on him to do. And he's rightly being criticized as having politicized the matter because many utterances have occurred in recent time.
And they've said nothing.
And they have never
come out and called out the person.
They have not.
Like when we saw the thing on television and Warmington was saying, only what?
Something like
She can go to places
where they're not invited.
Talking to a human being.
Yes.
He was talking to a human being.
And not just a human being, but one who carries representative responsibilities for the people. And they were operating in the area.
Yeah.
And no call for anyone to take responsibility and issue an apology. When Finance Minister Clark, made a racially tense comment about Mark Golding.
Yeah, they never came out.
I did not hear the condemnation. And I'm sure we can find a few more, but that's not the business we're in. Waking up the dead. When Mark Golding made his resurrection call.
Everybody was.
Yeah.
So you ask yourself now, is it a playing field that is
level? It's not level.
Not level.
It's not level.
And you know what it does? It clearly puts in the public sphere where people's minds are at. Because I don't think when he sat down and that group sat down behind to make a statement.
Did Prime Minister Holness have to make an apology for the member of his
cabinet?
Not cabinet. He wasn't a cabinet minister. The MP who was seen beating the woman with a stool.
No.
I'm just, reflecting on these things.
They didn't.
No.
So the question is, what is happening? Circling wagons.
Anyway, yeah, Mr. Siaga was off base. let him remain there. It doesn't have, he says, well, they're picking a fight, but he's not stepping in.
But he
And he should have the courage to apologize then and said, listen, now that I'm looking at it,
I'm sorry.
I went far. But the thing really hurt.
It hurt him?
I guess. Maybe the lady in his house gave him some strict orders.
Oh.
Do you remember when Queen Esther,
Yes.
when Vashti disrespect the king?
Yes, right.
And he called on his councils, his council members to say,
what we do?
What should we do?
And them say, no, you can't be this going on because then everybody will start disrespect you know.
So you never know what's going on. You never know what's going on when people are vexed about it. Yeah. Take care of that in ours. It's war in the rest of us household. The queen had to
take it as a joke.
All right, we got to stand to break. You and I can laugh about it. But yeah, we'll be right back. 7 o'clock.